What's way more dangerous than most people think? Walking downstairs with your hands in your pockets. Never ever do it, especially not to drunk. A fall down even 1 or 2 stairs with no hands to catch you can break your neck. I've seen a video of a man tripping and falling down 4 stairs, hitting the top of his head on the wall and dying right there in the stairwell. Anything under tension can be dangerous. Guitar strings hold around 200 pounds of tension. A game of tug-of-war can put thousands of pounds of tension into a rope. It's even been known to kill people. Here's a list: https priceonomics.com/a-history-of-tug-of-war-fatalities/ Hiking in Arizona heat. Palm trees. They are so much heavier than they look, and their branches can kinda just fall off without warning. Cat bites. Rescuing a drowning person. Drowning people are completing PANI (CKED) with one goal, which is to get to air immediately. And they will climb on top of people in their blind panic and fear with little to no thought as long as they can keep their head above water. There have been stories of young children drowning their older siblings and parents as the kid climb on top of their parents' heads and submerge them underwater. Rescuing a drowning person is no joke, and if you yourself a poor swimmer and or not trained in water rescue, do not attempt rescue. Your safety is top priority. Instead, immediately call emergency services and try to either extend something out for the person to grab onto, like a pool noodle, pool net, pole, branch, etc., or throw something that floats at the person for them to grab onto. A life jacket (PFD) is the best, but pool noodle, kickboard, floaty, open cooler, esky lids work. If you are trained in water rescue, then you should already know that if you don't need to get into the water, then don't. Remember, call, reach, extend, throw, row, swim, in that order. And always assess the conditions of the water before going in if you do. If the water is too murky, the current is too strong, there is too many in-water hazards like logs or rocks, again, don't attempt rescue. It sounds horrific to think about, but always think of numero uno, and rescue teams would much rather only rescue 1 person than 2 people. If you do decide to jump into attempt rescue, then you should always TSKE something that floats with you so you can hand it off to the drownee before they grab onto you. Edit to add. I have already put this in another comment. Seeing as some people may skip because they are commenting about how to punch someone in the face to mock them out. No. Hitting someone until they are knocked out may once have been a legitimate technique taught to those training to be lifeguards. It is no longer taught, has not been for years now, and is actively discouraged. If there is anyone out there that thinks they can attempt in water rescue, here is what you do. Copied and pasted from my other comments. Greater than this story actually raises a good point. How do you approach a drowning person? Greater than I have heard from too many people. Degrio. I have been told to knock them out, like slap them or hit them, while your husband did what he had to do to rescue his friend. This idea that you need to knock a drowning person out is incredibly outdated. Not to mention highly unsafe, not just for the drowning person but yourself as well. Greater than first off, if you are close enough to hit a drowning person, you're close enough to be grabbed by the masseur. Remember, a drowning person will latch onto anything that even appears to be floating to keep their head above water. That includes a person trying to rescue the masseur. Remember, a drowning person is not thinking clearly. They are panicked and struggling for air. They will grab you and potentially pull you under to achieve a fresh gulp of air. Greater than as mentioned in my op, if you are going to save someone from drowning, you should ideally bring something that floats with you. But really, it could be anything that the drownee can hold onto. Maybe don't bring a heavy bleed anchor or dumbbell with you though. I got taught even a t-shirt or shoe can sometimes suffice. Anything to create a barrier between you and the drownee. As you approach the drownee, position your body so you are sorta upright. with one hand holding the floating up extended towards the drownee, shouting out, "Grab the float. I can help grab the float." Quote, hopefully the drownee does grab the float. But if they so happen to go to grab you or your arm instead, immediately go onto your back, feet towards the drownee and kick hard away. You may have to repeat this process a number of times, even when the drownee tires themselves out. Greater than what happens if the victim does grab you and starts to pull you under. Suck, tuck, and exhale down. Bring them down underwater with you. Sound like the opposite of what you should do? Remember the drowning person's goal: to get air. They can't do that underwater, so if you are taking them with you, they're going to let of you. Kick away again. Greater than ideally if you can try to get behind them, monsieur, they can't grab you from behind. In one forceful motion, tuck your arms under their shoulders, armpits. Raise your hips up and lock your knees around their hips. A kind of random one. But don't eat uncooked slugs or snails. They can have parasites that will make you paralyzed and eventually kill you. An Australian kid died a couple of years ago from it. An awful way to go. Towing a stuck car with a chain. There is a list of people who have died from having the chain come through the back window and kill them. Blocking your nose when you sneeze. Though it's rare, you can damage blood vessels in your eyes and nose. You can rupture your eardrum. And you can even have an aneurysm, monsieur. Not getting regular checkups. I almost died because I had an internal hemorrhage that was slowly killing me. I was so depleted of iron and blood that the nurses thought my vitals were written wrong because I should have been dead. I needed 3 pints of blood in one sitting. Newts. Many newts, such as the rough-skinned newt, produce a toxin that is 10 times more potent than cyanide. They are only dangerous if you handle them and then don't wash your hands afterwards. Or if you eat the newt. There have been multiple reports over the years of someone eating a newt as part of a hazing ritual for a college fraternity, and then dying. The toxin that some newts produce can kill you inside of 15 minutes because the toxins block the sodium receptors in your nerves, essentially stopping your brain from communicating with your heart. Scary stuff. TLDR. If you handle a newt, wash your hands. And never put a newt in your mouth or you will die. Edit. Did not think this would blow up this much. Thank you to the Redditors that provided so much information about tetrodotoxin. To see it in action, check out this video from Nat Geo. https youtube.be/cov5wv8-qg. Bites from other human beings are actually really dangerous due to infection rates. Being knocked unconscious. Lots of popular media makes it seem like a minor thing that an average person can shrug off after a short period. In reality, if you are ever knocked out, then you have suffered brain damage. It's possible there might not be any lasting effects, but it's a serious injury and you 100% need to see a doctor if it ever happens to you. People know that rip currents are dangerous, but don't think about them as a real threat often enough. Shit, reading all of this and wondering how am I alive and still have teeth. Attempting to change garage door springs without knowing what you're doing can kill you. Electricity. People seem to have little understanding or respect for it. Driving tired, sleepy, not getting enough sleep. Deep cuts on your fingertips. They're called felons and can infect your bloodstream, monsieur. Clean them out, and if you see a red line traveling up your arm, get yourself to the ER immediately. My neighbor almost died from this when she cut her finger on her violin string. Edit. Removed my advice about changing tires. My main point was don't go under your car if the tire's off without a jack stand. But that should be obvious.